and, and sand. I remember our tables uh, uh, in the mess hall or whatever, or the hall where we eat. Uh, the plates upside down would be sand, fine sand, right on there. And you'd be eating sand all the time. Yeah, blow right through the buildings.
What did you do in basic training? I mean, was it specific preparation for fighting, or was it
We're
just
fighting.
general?
Oh yeah, it was fighting. It was going through the obstacle course. We jump in the river, catch a rope in the middle of the creek, and then swing over. A lot of guys couldn't make it; they swam, or go over a big high fence, climb up. Some guy said, sergeant would get so mad he said, "Get around the post and get out of here."
And okay, how long was boot camp? You remember?
6 weeks, I think it was, yeah. And then I got the measles. Just about the last week, I got the measles, and I was in the hospital for 3, 4 days. And I had to start all over again, basic training. Did the same thing all over again. Then we got shipped to uh, 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 San Antonio, Texas. Normal ordnance depot. That's what it was called. Now I think now it's a big airport or army base. It's probably army base right now. And trained for a mechanic. I trained for 6 months, from March or April till September, and then I was ready to ship overseas, which I did in September.
Okay, ship overseas.
Yeah.
Where overseas? Where did you go?
I finally landed. That was the nasty one. That took 25 days to cross.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, and that was the one of them Kaiser boats. Let's see what the name of it now. It wasn't a victory ship. The victory ship was a better one. But anyhow, that boat was terrible. That thing swayed back and forth, and we crossed in November, and that water was terrible. The waves were high, and the submarines was the thickest ever at that time, the German submarines, and it took 25 days. We had a mutiny at one time. The toilets, everything was all plugged up. There was a wall, a door. We walk in, it's kind of, and you walk inside, it was water to 3, 4 inches deep right on the floor, just swaying back and forth with all the toilet paper, everything. They were all mixed up together. And I had first week I was downstairs sleeping in a bunk bed. Bunk beds were five tiers high, and I was on the bottom. Somebody went and got sick, and it went and messed me all up. So I said, that was it. I'm not sleeping there no more. So there was some jeeps on top of the deck, tied up with chains and cable, and I made myself a bed and a mattress and out of blankets, And that's where I slept 25 days right on there under that jeep. That's a fact.
About how many troops were being transported on that particular boat?
550 officers and men. 550. Yeah, it was a little crowded.
And no, I'm sorry.
A Liberty ship.
Oh, okay.
Sure, a Liberty ship. The newer one's a Victory ship. So I just think of the name of it. They were horrible, man, oh man. And man, you couldn't stand on the floor down there. Some of the guys got in through the ration somehow. They managed to get into under the covers or whatever they had, but bolted down. It was supposed to have been rations or food or something. And the whole place was just messy and slimy and everything. Man, I just didn't eat. There's nothing. I just sat on that and drank water. That's all. Even that was nasty.
Now, you mentioned something about a mutiny.
Yeah, well, because the guys was mad because we didn't have good food to eat. Nothing. It was terrible. And that was the reason. The food itself, I think.
Well, what form did that mutiny take? What happened?
Well, they read out the articles of war and they told us what it is. The officers, you probably read the articles of war. They can sentence you to death. So that's about it.
So in other words, there was a mutiny until the officers said, we can kill you for doing this, and then the mutiny died down.
Right down. That was it. Yeah, that's one of. I don't know how many other people done that, but well, my ship was bad. That's all I know.
Was at that point was everyone behind? Who kind of started it, or was it just general grumbling of everyone?
Everybody was grumbling. There were so many of them that but because I stayed on the deck most of the time. Whatever grumbling was there, it was all downstairs someplace. And there were different compartments, they're probably cleaner. I didn't even attempt to find out if there's anything cleaner. I stayed on the deck.
Okay, after 25 days, finally you come into port.
We landed on Oran, Africa. And we were stationed there for a few weeks, till sometimes I don't know. We landed, like I say, we crossed in November, and the 25 days, probably around the 1st of December, and that's when the First Special Service Force had their first battle on a casino front. I wasn't even with them at that time. But they started like the 8th or 9th of December, and they fought till about Christmas time. And I landed in Naples around the 10th or 11th. And then we're there on a what they call a racetrack. We had pup tents all the way around, and we were there for several weeks or several days, I should say. And they volunteered. They came from the First Special Service Force. I didn't know who they were at the time, but that's who they were. They wanted volunteers because they lost 1,230 men out of 1,800 on a casino front, a Monte Casino, that monastery area. They knocked all the Germans out from the back end instead of the front end. And a lot of snipers, a lot of guys got killed because of snipers on the ridges, everywhere. And that was it. Well, they asked me and a buddy of mine. We volunteered. We said, sure, we'll join. Why not?
Well, and I'm asking. You're saying why not, and I'm asking why.
Well, I wanted action. That was the word, action. I mean, being a mechanic, be sitting in the background someplace, in the back 40 somewhere, repairing vehicles or whatever. I wanted to go on the front lines. That was it. We volunteered. I'm not kidding.
Had you seen much action, even from a distance, at that point?
No, nothing. We just landed, like I say.
So was at that point was still kind of romanticized and not real to you yet?
No.
I mean, I
still would have been a mechanic if them guys never came around. I probably would have been a mechanic. That's what probably would have ended up. But as it turned out, it turned different. So that was it.
Okay, so they came in. They were looking for volunteers. You and a buddy said, "We're in."
Yeah.
Then what happened?
Well, we joined the outfit.
And which outfit was this?
And that's the First Special Service Force, the originals, and we made it.
Who were you attached to at that point? Do you know? What division? What army? What?
Well, probably the Third Army at the time, or it could have been even the Eighth Army. It all depends. I don't know for sure.
Okay.
But it was either Third or the Eighth Army. I can't remember all of them exactly. If I look at the history books there, I probably could tell you. But anyhow, we had a forced march, 30 miles. We had to go to a city called Santa Maria, and that's why we did some more training over there, and eventually we went trained to land on Anzio Beachhead. That was a diversion for the 8th Army from a casino front. They couldn't break the Gustav line, they call it. The Germans had a they had the American Army pinned down. They couldn't get going.
Okay, I do want to get to Anzio, but what was your training like with the special
Well,
forces?
just regular, almost the same as basic. We had we had a special knife, that we carried, the M42. That's the dagger. And that's the only thing I remember when they had I was trying to find it to show it to you here, but I can't find it. And but that was just the same basic. But the originals were mountain troopers and paratroopers, and they were trained in Helena, Montana, the originals. So, yeah, and of course I wasn't with them at that time, so I didn't have no mountain troop training or skiing or paratroopers. But the original was all paratroopers. So they didn't really like us too well because they figured they was better than we were. I guess I don't know that, but there was somebody that I had a lieutenant that really just loved me. He kept the side of he always watched for me. He always wanted something. He always called for me because I did a lot of things that nobody else did. So eventually we landed on like February 2nd or 3rd in February of '44. We landed in Anzio.
And how did you get there?
On a boat, right from the shoreline there for whatever it was off of Italy. Because the other one the other one is another invasion of southern France. I'll come up to it later. But anyhow, we landed in Anzio, and then we had a third of the line on Anzio, from the ocean to the right, a third away on Mussolini Canal. That was a big swamp over one time. It had a big cement trench, the main line going to the ocean. It was at the base. It was probably 10 feet wide, and the walls run up about 10 feet high. And that was the Mussolini Canal. And all the little branches run into that from the swamp. And that was our line. It was pretty hard. The tank couldn't cross it because it would dip right into the hole, see? So that was what. We really had the best section of the whole Anzio, really.
Okay, tell me how you got onto the beach. Tell me what you were thinking, if you remember what you were thinking when you were heading onto the beach.
Nothing. We didn't have no fire. We all landed with no firing, but the Germans pulled way back, and they wasn't even around there. But they certainly come back 2-3 days later, and then they really started fighting us, trying to knock us off. But we held our line, and that was it. Especially our line was easy to defend because of the canal itself. That was nice. So that's about it.
Okay, so you secured that whole beachhead. You secured
And we held it 111 days.
And that's how long you were there?
Yeah, right. That's how we stayed there 111 days. So that was quite a while.
And at that point, a few days in, the Germans realized what had happened.
Yeah.
And then they did what?
They tried to knock us out. One time, a few months later, they had three battalions of Rangers there, and the Rangers was going to make a raid on the German line, and the Germans somehow made the same raid backward. 2 battalions got wiped out, and only 1 battalion survived at all. The rest got either captured or killed. and so weeks later, that battalion joined our outfit, and they joined the First Special Service Force.
Was there a time, and when you were at Anzio during that 111 days, where you thought, "Uh-oh, I'm going to buy it now. I'm in trouble here"?
Yeah. Well,
Well, tell me about something.
well, first job I had, I was an operator on the upper of one of the houses up on the upper floor. I had a telephone. I was running an operator to direct field artillery. If anybody called for on a line for field artillery, I was supposed to relay it back. So I was there for about a week. We were doing a fine job, and all of a sudden, a German shell hit the top of the roof and knocked the whole plaster off the shingles and everything else. And there was nothing but dust up there. I ran downstairs. I told the lieutenant, that's it, off the phone. I don't want no more phone. Put me any place. So they said, how about a machine gun? I said, that's fine. I said, at least I can protect myself. I can't, nothing with the big shells up on my roof.